Have you ever felt it? That hot, quiet flush of frustration that creeps up your neck when you're in the middle of a sentence? A sentence that matters to you, one you've carefully constructed. And suddenly, you're no longer speaking. The air has been stolen from you. Someone else's voice, louder, faster, or simply more insistent, has barreled over yours, leaving your thoughts stranded, an orphan in the cacophony of conversation. It's a universal sting, a micro-humiliation we've all endured. It happens in the high-stakes pressure of a boardroom, where your idea is bulldozed by a more aggressive colleague. It happens over dinner with friends, where your personal story is cut short by an impatient anecdote. Most painfully, it happens in the supposed sanctuary of our closest relationships, when the person you trust most looks past you, their mind already on their reply before you've even finished your thought. In that moment, a silent, critical choice is made. What do? The common path, the one smoothed by years of social conditioning, is to retreat. You might offer a tight, awkward smile and a barely audible, "Sorry, go ahead." You shrink, physically and metaphorically, allowing your voice to be relegated to the background. You tell yourself it's polite. You tell yourself it's not worth the fight. It's just a conversation after all. But it is never just a conversation. Every time you surrender your space, every time you allow your voice to be silenced without protest, you are engaged in a subtle act of self-betrayal. You are teaching the world, and more damagingly yourself, a dangerous lesson. What I have to say is secondary. My thoughts can wait. My presence is negotiable. This is not a minor social inconvenience. It is a slow, insidious erosion of your authority, your presence, and your self-worth. It is a war of attrition fought in whispers and interruptions, and too many of us are willingly surrendering before the battle even begins. The ancient Stoic philosophers, men like Marcus Aurelius, the emperor who ruled the known world, Seneca, the advisor to tyrants, and Epictetus, the slave who became a master of the mind, understood this dynamic intimately. They knew that true power wasn't located in swords, shields, or titles. It resided in the citadel of the self, in the unshakable command of one's own mind and, by extension, one's own presence. They understood that the way you speak is not merely a reflection of your thoughts. It is the very architecture of how the world perceives you. To them, ceding your conversational ground was akin to leaving the gates of your fortress unguarded. What if there was a way to fortify those gates? What if you could, in an instant, halt an interruption in its tracks, not with anger or aggression, but with a calm, undeniable authority that commands the attention of the entire room? What if there were tools, forged in the wisdom of these ancient thinkers, that could transform you from a conversational bystander into a respected presence whose voice is not only heard, but actively sought? There are. And they are not complex strategies or manipulative tricks. They are 3 deceptively simple words, words that, when wielded correctly, can fundamentally shift the dynamics of power in any interaction. This isn't about learning a script. It's about understanding the profound psychology behind these words and embodying the Stoic mindset that gives them their force. Imagine a boardroom in chaos. Deadlines loom. Stress is palpable. Voices overlap, each competing for dominance, creating a wall of noise where nothing meaningful can penetrate. You have the solution, a clear path through the confusion, but you can't find an entry point. Every time you begin, you're drowned out. Shouting would only add to the pandemonium and mark you as desperate. Waiting for a pause that will never come is a form of surrender. Here, the first word is deployed. You don't raise your voice, instead you lower it slightly. Your posture remains relaxed but firm, and you utter a single, clear command. Listen. The effect is electric. It is the verbal equivalent of a sudden, sharp rap on a resonating bell. The chaotic chatter falters. Heads turn. The overlapping arguments cease, creating a vacuum of silence that is now yours to fill. Why is this one word so potent? Because it is a primal, orienting signal hardwired into the human brain. Psychologists call it a pattern interrupt. It forces the listener's mind to stop its current process and reorient itself toward a new, potentially vital piece of information. The word listen is not a request. It is a gentle but firm command that implies what follows is of consequence. Epictetus, teaching in his modest school in Nicopolis, was a master of this. When his students would grow restless, their minds wandering, he wouldn't bang a staff or raise his voice. He would pause, letting the silence grow, and then, with quiet intensity, simply say, "Listen." He understood that true authority doesn't shout, it draws others into its own state of focused calm. When you say listen, you are not being rude. You are being a leader. You are signaling that you respect the conversation enough to demand clarity, and that you respect your own contribution enough to ensure it is heard. You are cutting through the noise not by adding to it, but by momentarily silencing it, creating a space for substance to emerge. It is the first step in transforming from a passive participant to an active architect of the conversation. Gaining attention is only half the battle. Attention is fleeting. A loud noise can capture it, but only value can hold it. People interrupt because, in that split second, they have subconsciously decided that their thought is more urgent, more relevant, more important than yours. To maintain control of the conversational ground you've just claimed, you must immediately address this unspoken hierarchy. This is where the second word comes in, important. Let's revisit our interrupted moment. You have successfully used listen to create a pause. Now you immediately follow up, not with an apology, but with a declaration of value. Listen. What's important to understand here is, or in a one-on-one setting where your partner has cut you off, you hold their gaze and say calmly, "Hold on, this is important." This word is a powerful framing device. It shifts the entire context of the conversation. You are no longer just sharing an opinion. You are delivering crucial information. You elevate your statement from the realm of casual chatter to that of essential insight. This triggers a different kind of listening in the other person. Their brain, now primed by the word important, shifts from a mode of waiting to speak to a mode of needing to understand. They don't want to be the one who missed the key point. Marcus Aurelius, as emperor of Rome, lived a life besieged by endless demands, courtly intrigue, and a torrent of trivialities. His genius lay in his ability to relentlessly filter for the essential. In his private meditations, he constantly reminded himself to discard the unnecessary. On the battlefield, surrounded by generals offering a flurry of conflicting advice, he was known to cut through the noise by declaring, "The important matter is the morale of the legions." He wasn't dismissing their counsel. He was recentering the entire discussion around the one variable that he, as the ultimate authority, had deemed critical. When you label your point as important, you are doing the same. You are taking on the role of the arbiter of value in that moment. You are not asking for permission to continue. You are giving them a compelling reason why they should want you to. You are implicitly stating, "What you were about to say can wait. What I am about to say cannot." This is not arrogance, it is clarity. It is the confident assertion that your perspective has weight, and you are inviting them to recognize it. You have commanded attention with listen. You have established value with important. Now you must deliver the final anchoring blow that makes your position unassailable. This is where the third word comes in, and it is perhaps the most Stoic of all. Now. The human mind is a time-traveling machine. It dwells in the regrets of the past and the anxieties of the future. Interruptions often spring from this tendency. Someone is not fully present with you, but is instead reacting to a past grievance or planning a future rebuttal. The word now is a powerful tether. It yanks the wandering mind out of the abstract and anchors it firmly in the only moment that truly exists. Seneca wrote extensively about the preciousness of time, lamenting how people give it away so freely. "No one sets a value on time," he wrote. "They squander it as if it were a free gift." The word now instantly places a high value on the present moment. Later can be ignored. Tomorrow can be postponed. But now demands immediate consideration. It creates a sense of urgency without inducing panic. Imagine a project team that is drifting, lost in endless debate and procrastination. You've been interrupted while trying to make a decisive point. Instead of retreating, you combine the words. Listen, what's important is that we make a decision on this now. The word now leaves no room for evasion. It closes the door on "we'll circle back and let's table this." It forces a confrontation with the present reality. It declares that this moment, this thought, this decision is the nexus of everything. When you're interrupted mid-thought and you respond with, "Now let me finish this point," you are not just asking to continue. You are asserting that the flow of this present moment is under your direction. The other person is forced to halt, not just because you've spoken, but because they have been brought back to the immediacy of the interaction. Their own train of thought, which was likely barreling toward a future point, has been stopped at the station of the present. Before we weave these three powerful words into a final unified strategy, we must address the single greatest act of verbal self-sabotage, the reflexive apology. The word sorry, when used to concede conversational ground, is a trap. It feels polite, but it is a poison pill for your authority. Every time you are interrupted and you reply with sorry, you are apologizing for your own existence in that space. You are validating the interruption. You are saying, "You were right to speak over me. Your thought is indeed more important." Do this often enough and it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. People will continue to interrupt you, not because they are malicious, but because you have trained them that your voice is the one that can be safely ignored. Epictetus warned, "No one can diminish you without your consent." The misplaced sorry is the signature on that consent form. The real danger is the cumulative effect. It's the slow erosion of your presence. Each apology is a small concession, but over time they carve deep channels of deference into your psyche and into how others perceive you. You begin to believe the lie you've been telling, that your voice is less valuable. So what is the alternative? How do you reclaim your space with grace and strength rather than with a whimper? You replace the apology with a calm, assertive re-engagement. You combine our principles. Instead of "sorry, go ahead," you take a breath, hold your ground, and say, "Listen, there's more." Or, "One moment, this is important." Or even the powerful trifecta. Listen. What's important now is that you hear the end of this. Notice the difference. One is a surrender. The other is a reassertion. One shrinks. The other expands. This is not about winning an argument. It's about maintaining your integrity and the integrity of the communication. It is the Stoic practice of owning your space in the world, starting with the few feet of conversational air around you. Ultimately, these three words, listen, important, now, are not magic incantations. They are tools, and their effectiveness depends entirely on the conviction of the person wielding them. Their true power is unlocked when they are not just spoken, but are backed by a Stoic mindset. At its core, Stoicism is about understanding what is within your control and what is not. You cannot control if someone else decides to interrupt you. That is external and beyond your power. But you have absolute, sovereign control over your response. You can choose to shrink and apologize, or you can choose to hold your ground with calm authority. These words are the expression of that internal choice. They work because they are rooted in self-respect. When you truly believe that what you have to say has value, the words "listen" and "important" will carry an authentic weight that others cannot ignore. When you are truly living in the present moment, as the Stoics urged, your use of the word "now" will have a power that commands focus. This is a practice. Start small. The next time a friend interrupts you, instead of the reflexive "sorry," try a gentle, "Hold on, let me just finish this thought." Feel the small but significant shift in the dynamic. Then, try it in a low-stakes meeting. Notice how a well-placed listen can bring a wandering conversation back into focus. The way you communicate is a reflection of your inner state. By practicing this disciplined form of speech, you are not just changing how others hear you. You are changing how you see yourself. You are moving from a position of asking for permission to one of granting it. You are embodying the principle that your presence matters. The world is noisy. It will always try to talk over you. It will always present you with opportunities to shrink, to apologize for your space, to surrender your voice. But you are not powerless. You are the master of your response. By arming yourself with this ancient wisdom, you can learn to stand firm in the storm of words, unshakable and clear. You can command the respect you deserve not by demanding it, but by living in a way that makes it undeniable. Begin now. Your voice is waiting.